Welcome. Thank you guys all so much for stopping by. As always, if you don't know, my name is Eli with Pokémon USA. Tuesdays and Thursdays are the days in which we have ourselves a fun Q&A where we kind of just chill, chat around. It doesn't have to be about anything serious, obviously, but as in the title of the video, I typically don't have the time to go through and answer everyone's questions related to the... Oh, whoopsie, audio is gonna break your ears. Sorry about that, guys. I had the desktop audio up way too high, but that should be better now. But as in the title of the video, usually I don't have time to go through and answer all the questions for the comments, so I just titled the video based off of what the last video I posted was. So you can ask questions about it, you don't have to, but this is the day to just kind of talk and ask any questions you have about what's going on in the Pokemon market. But without further ado, as always, if you want to enter into our weekly giveaways, make sure you leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Of course, we've got multiple opportunities for you to enter since we post multiple videos each week, and then multiple opportunities to win because we've got 3 winners each week. But let's give a couple shout out to some of the people that are here right now and jumping into it. Shout out to Scratch'em is here, Poke Department Stores, Streamling, Pika, good to see you. And that is it so far. We are on the slower side today. I am a little bit later, I apologize. Also, last week's video, obviously very impromptu, or not last week, but this Monday's video, very impromptu. I apologize for that, but what's up, Scratch'em? Hopefully all is well with you. Brilliant Stars reprints coming soon. I have absolutely no idea. I mean, the expectation is that there should be some reprints coming soon, just based on the fact of the matter that there were supposed to be sometime at the end of August, early September, and they never came. But you know how it is. Can you tell them to lower MSRP, not raise it? Yeah, right. Hey, man. I'll only tell them that if they agree to also lower the price of wholesale. How does that sound fair? What are your thoughts on Scarlet and Violet, and do you think they lack excitement so far? Because a good amount of people to stop collecting, also recession. That's a good question, honestly. I would say, here, let's pull up my Instagram and let's hope it always wants to pull up my direct box. I don't want you to see my inbox. I just want to pull up regular Instagram. So who is the individual that's been doing it? Where is he? Why am I not seeing it? So the gentleman that posted here, give me a sec, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Pokemon TCG Saver, as per usual. So he dropped some images, if you don't know, of some of the new EX cards that are going to be shown. Here's that for people to see. You know what? I could have easily probably just seen these on Poke Beach. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't just do Poke Beach. Poke Beach probably has them all a lot easier to show as well. But let's take a look one way or another. But yeah, so here is the designs for what the cards are supposed to look like. If you don't know, this is, I presume, going to be a crystal. Just based on what it looks like. Arcanine EX, it's got 280. I don't think a standard EX is going to have one. And it says terrestrialize. This Pokemon doesn't take any damage from attacks while on the bench. Oh, that's quite interesting. So there's that version. Obviously Magnezone EX, but that's kind of one that hasn't really been revealed. Here is Maridon. But if you look, it doesn't say terrestrialize on the bench. Kind of like this one doesn't say terrestrialize on the bench. So it has me to believe that the only terrestrialized Pokemon that's been revealed so far is the Arcanine, which makes sense because I mean if you look at the Arcanine and the design that it has, you can see the crystals being thrown out in his paw is like crystal hand, but if you look at all the other ones, there's not like crystals being thrown at you. So that's going to be the new gimmick, which we already knew that. We already knew that was going to be the new gimmick, but that's just what it's going to look like in terms of the card design. I don't know. What are my thoughts on it, though? I mean, I will tell you this. It's been getting a lot of hate. I've heard a lot of people talk so much crap about this most recently. And personally speaking, I don't get the hate for it. I know people are like, oh my god, this looks terrible. Like, these are so basic. Like, this is not what I wanted. But, like, let's be honest here, guys. We knew based off of Scarlet and Violet, Terrestrialize was going to be the newest, the newest concept to come out. And so far, the fact is, when looking at this card design, it could have been much worse in my opinion. So I think people are giving it too much hate. In all honesty, my biggest thing is you have to take everything with a grain of salt in terms of their first couple sets they release, because those are the ones that are usually just so much more focused on competitive play. Rebel Clash, Sword and Shield base, Sun and Moon, Guardians Rising, Sun and Moon base. Like, they're always going to do that the first couple of sets. So it's like, that's kind of what we're expecting the first two Scarlet and Violet sets to be like. So I don't know. I would say don't try and get just too worked up about it at the very beginning, because I guarantee you that they're going to have some amazing art designs later on in the second half of Scarlet and Violet. But I like the standard designs regardless. I mean, I don't know. But that's just me. Does them raising MSRP reinforce our ground floor, or does that just mean everything can fall that much further? That's a great question. Well, here's the deal. If you guys remember when, well, I don't know if you were there, but Crimson Invasion at one point fell down to $60 a booster box. We have yet to see booster boxes go down to 60. The lowest we've seen is in the 70s. With that being said, I'm of the firm belief that this does just raise the floor. Now, that's not going to say that all of a sudden, like, we can never see 70 again, because it's entirely possible. But it is less likely, and the set itself will have to be extremely low demand to get to that point, or extremely highly printed, or both. Wolfie says, others are here, we're just lurking. What up? What up, Wolfie? Lord Narwhal, any thoughts on Pikachu promos? 0 SVP for Scarlet and Violet, thinking of investing. Is this a Japanese promo? Let's take a look. I guarantee you Poke Beach probably has an image of it. Is this a Japanese promo, or can I look it up on here? Oh, it's Japanese. Kind of had a feeling. What's it called? Let me see. It's the... Oh, are you talking about the Precious? Oh, wait, no, this isn't the Precious. Oh, wow. Okay, that's kind of cool. I mean, this is the Chinese one, but... Here's the Japanese one. I mean, I don't know if investing is the right word. But I mean, if you just look at Japanese promos historically, they've tend to do really well. I have no clue what the supply of this product obviously is. It's a cool product. And typically, if you look at all of the times they've created a Pikachu with a background starter, it's always tend to do really well with the background starters. I think this will be a super popular card, honestly. I do. I don't want to say that to like influence your investing decisions, but obviously if we go back and we look at the set that came out during Rebel Clash, this was the #1 performing item in 2020 for Pokemon related product, and honestly is still the #1 performing product. The Sword and Shield figure collection going all the way up to 110, 120 right now. If you guys remember this product, and it had the Pikachu promo, and then it had the 3 starters from Gen 8 in the background. Like this has performed extremely well because people love the design for it. So this is exactly the same thing but with Gen 9. So I think it'll do really well. I've mostly been using OfferUp to sell or trade cards. Is there any other recommendations? Facebook seems to not work for me. I mean, it's really hard, Katie. It's really hard, man. It's a tough one, I would say, because I don't recommend Craigslist to sell. I can recommend it to buy sometimes, but typically for selling, I mean, it's really eBay, TCG Player, Facebook, and then either OfferUp, Whatnot, or Mercari. Those are kind of the best places to go. I guess you could check out Mercari. I've heard some good reviews on that. But in all honesty, there's not really a lot in terms of options. Which, I mean, I guess that is a lot of options, but when you think about it, you know, what are the fee structures on a lot of these? And I think that's the thing a lot of people are not the biggest fan of. In my honest opinion, they should lower wholesale prices given the packs are so crap. If polls are going to continue this way, they should lower entry points. Oh my gosh. Hey man, I wish that's how it works, Alonzo, but obviously things are working on a supply-demand spectrum. And, you know, when there's too many dollars chasing too few goods, then product value has to increase. It's the byproduct of inflation through overprinting of the United States dollar. That's where this all comes from. So it sucks. That's the reality of the situation. But you know, if you want that to happen, tell the United States government to start burning money and stop spending it, and then I guarantee you that prices will probably come down because there'll be less money for people to spend. Curious to your thoughts on Evolution VMAX boxes. Think they have potential to rise with time? Well, yeah, of course. They've got massive potential. I mean, at one point they were going for like $100+ a pop, and now they've dropped a decent amount, like into the 60s or 70. And I think that's because obviously there's been some that have been floating around at Walmart, so it's like the potential for them to do well long term is still there. They obviously just had a small amount of them pop up at Walmart's, and that was enough to drop the prices. And so yeah, they definitely have an opportunity to do well. We hate it. we hate it now, and 10 years later we'll love it. That's how it usually goes. I like the designs, I can't lie. I think it's fine, it's base set. I just wish EX letters were smaller. I get that. I'm very excited from a purely visual standpoint. Feels a little throwback to me. Visual is done intentionally because if all cards look good, then no card is special. Sorry, I figured you wouldn't see my response for a bit. You're good, dude. Hey, what's up, TT? Thanks for stopping by. Will Lance's Charizard 25th anniversary boxes be a good buy? Always. Always a good buy. Not financial advice, but incredible buy. Celebrations will do extremely well long term. Best Celebrations product to invest in right now, probably Lance's Charizard box. Because you can still probably get it at Walmart for MSRP. Here, let me take a look. So we know that Sylveon is there. So here's my deal. If the Lance's Charizard is not available, which I'm pretty sure it is, but if it isn't available, then I would say, oh, product not available, frick you then. Then I would say the Sylveon is incredible right now. But yeah, if you can't find the Lance's Charizard link for 20 bucks, then I would say the Sylveon. But it only is if you can get it at MSRP. If it's not at MSRP, then you don't go for it, obviously. Ooh, Poké Department Store says bought 5 Sylveon and they sent me 2 Charizard Lances. There you go. Yeah, no, I mean, you go for this all day. 20 bucks? That's incredible right now. Especially when everything is so high. I mean, let's just go right now, guys, and take a look at what prices are. We go to Celebrations. Go to Sealed Product. And the price right now for the boxes, obviously, it's gone down. But if you're getting sent Lance's Charizard boxes, even if you're not getting sent Lance's Charizard boxes, I mean, you should, in theory, still be able to make money off of it. If you are getting sent Lance's Charizard and they're 38 bucks, I mean, look at the flip on this. You sell for 37 bucks. They take away, what, $4 in fees? $4.50 in fees. And then you ship additionally for $4. I mean, you're more likely walking away with a $9 profit, which is at least a 40% return. Like, that's crazy right now. They sent me an extra one by accident. Walmart QC is like third world country stuff. Dang. Oh my god, that's terrible. But yeah, it's like a free money glitch right now if you are able to get the Lance's Charizards. I mean, obviously, it's more, obviously with the Dark Sylveon, it's a lot better right now. Or it's a lot harder to, like, justify the same flip value. But it's still good. I mean, you're saying to yourself, okay, 32 bucks is what you sell it for. And you say 0.86 times 32 bucks minus $4 to ship. I mean, you're walking away with around 15%. So is it really worth it at that point? Not really. But if you were to hold, and let's say in another 6 months when this goes up to 35 bucks, I mean, just look at what the price of this was before. It was at 33.54. So I don't know. It's tough to say, but I mean, regardless, at the end of the day, this is a value, because if you want to liquidate it, you can. And that's what you look for in a product. If you can buy it under its liquidation point, then that's a good pickup. Not financial advice for everything. Good afternoon, Poke Trainer Mason. Good to see you. Also, I want to make this statement. I'm not trying to call anyone out in specific. When I made the video 2 days ago talking about how to turn losses into wins, I received some comments, and one of the comments was like, wow, so you're telling me that if I invested all my money in Darkness Ablaze ETBs and went and invested them in Evolving, and I lost a ton of money, that I should now invest in Evolving Skies? That's extremely dangerous if they were to get a reprint. And I'm just like, I feel like either you're trolling me or you didn't watch my video, because I said that it'd be good if Evolving Skies just got a reprint and you lost a bunch of money and it's still sitting in Darkness Ablaze, then maybe it'd be a good opportunity to go put it in Evolving after it's got a reprint. But for some reason, they didn't hear that point of the video, or they're just trolling me. But I read some comments that people were saying that, and I'm just like, Jesus loves me. What did you think I was saying? Like, I don't know. I thought it was quite interesting. So hopefully people did not think that's what I meant, to go buy Evolving Skies right now at $280, because that's not what I'm telling people to do. Buy the Dark Sylveon on Walmart. They sent me Charizards on accident. Yeah, everyone keeps getting them on accident. I really want to invest in V-Star Universe. Any suggestions on when and where to buy? I mean, not to make you FOMO, but I mean, unless this product's going to get a big reprint, which it potentially can, it's going to be really hard right now, because you're looking at best case scenario $70 if you can find it. Now, I could be wrong, but I've been looking everywhere and I can't seem to find anything below $75-80. So if you can get it for 70, then that's great, but you know, it's kind of tough. What's up, average player? Hopefully all's well with you. My extra box was super beat up. It was like someone had stepped all over it. Hey, well, they're getting rid of product, I guess. Might as well say, take it, break it down, and have some packs for you. Boxes go above $100. I won't buy booster boxes. Are supposed to be static, like $60, like video games is, at least to me. But Timo, video games aren't static like that. Most video games at this point are $65 to $70. So that's not true. Like, I don't know. What's the price of Modern Warfare 2 right now? If you want to go buy it on GameStop, it's $70. Video games are not static. I mean, sure, you've got some that are selling for 60, but for the most part, most video games these days are selling for 70 now. Nothing is ever static, except for Costco hot dogs. That is the only thing that is static. Shout out to Costco. I will never not shop with you guys. And literally the only reason why they're not static is because the owner of Costco said that, I swear to God, if you ever raise the prices of Costco hot dogs, I will fire all of you. Because it's the main selling point for Costco. Because they're like, yeah, we can totally offer people a $1.50 hot dog. Sure, we're not making money on it and we're basically losing money. But it's like, to them, they're just very much about the belief of people are going to come in, buy our memberships, take care of them, and the least we can do is sell them $1.50 hot dogs. Like, that's just kind of one of their models as a business. But in terms of their general pricing for the rest of their product, obviously it adjusts with inflation, so it doesn't really affect them if they're selling people some hot dogs, you know? But I mean, in terms of just general product, inflation will affect everything. It's just how it works. Arizona tea? I do not know that, as someone who doesn't drink Arizona tea. Nor do I know how they would affect that. If you get bored, you should fill this out. Fill what out? What should I fill out? Also, one other thing I wanted to mention with you guys. So I obviously am streaming here right now. But I will be doing another stream with Northwoods. It is going to be at 5. No, it's going to be at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. whatever. I'll make an announcement about it. Anyway, I'm going to be doing a stream with Northwoods on his channel at 4 Pacific Standard Time, if you guys want to check it out. So, literally in like 2.5 hours. The hot dog or the pizza? The hot dog, but also the pizza as well, if I'm seeing. Did not get the link. If you want a narwhal, you can just DM me in Discord. 99 cents OST, did not know that. And they're beasts when it comes to refunds. Interesting. Oh yeah. Gotta love it. Gotta love Costco. Costco, when I walk into Costco, I just smell like an American. I just smell America. That's all that place is. Hot dogs, pizza, wholesale product you're buying at an affordable price in quantities that you don't need. That's the American dream right there, if I've ever heard of it. What are you and Northwoods going to be talking about? How sexy and smart are you? That's exactly what we're going to talk about. He's just going to blow smoke up my butt the entire interview. You guys didn't know that? No, well, considering the link that he sent me is Pokemon Online Store, and I'm presuming he wants to talk about the brick and mortar. Works, no Discord, but Google create Sword and Shield, it'll come up. It's a tier maker for Sword and Shield set. Oh, you want me to make a tier maker for the Sword and Shield set? Oh, you're at work, so no Discord. But Google... I see. America, DJ says. Sorry to all of my non-Americans here. Nothing against anyone else. I just, I like obesity. What can I say? You heard it here first. I am a huge fan of obesity. Changed my mind. Yo, how the heck do I get rid of this? Tell me that ain't garbage. I don't want to see your let's go places. This thing is so zoomed in. Oh my gosh. Why is my zoom in at 300%? No wonder. That is bizarre. Ah, I see. You want me to do a tier ranking. Why is it zoomed in like that? That's crazy. Tier ranking. I saw this yesterday. I actually saw this yesterday. And the fact of the matter is, here, let's take a look actually and compare it to what was done through Danny Phantom, because Danny Phantom did one. Nope, didn't mean to do that. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna compare his to ours, and I will determine which is the right one. All right, so if we straight up look at his, first things first, I know that if you watch the video with him, he very much said that he's taking all of the factors into account. Competitive playability, pull rates, set cards itself. And so that's what you have to take into consideration, right? So easy, obviously. You put evolving in S tier, no question about it. It makes sense. It makes sense. Evolving makes sense. And with that being said, if we're also considering competitive playability, then you got to put Rebel Clash at number 2. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I would say, here's my thing, man. Here's where I think this is a hot take. The fact that he puts Sword and Shield base at B blows my mind. And I didn't watch the full video, so I can't, I'll be 100% honest and transparent. I watched a little bit at the beginning, and then I was like, all right, I just want to jump to the point and see what he said, right? Might want to move the webcam. Oh, is it because of my face is not, because I'm like side facing it? Yeah, no, I can just do this, and then I can just pull it up more on my side like this. I mean, Sword and Shield, I think Sword and Shield should be at, I don't know, man. I think it's a D tier. Oh, I'm blocking my tier list because of my face. Oh, you don't care about seeing my side face or not. Oh, lol, that's hilarious. Oh, I see what you're saying. Not the webcam, the face visual. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll drop my face here. This is where my face is going to be. All right, there we go. People are like, I don't give a crap about your face. I want to see the tier. Yeah, too many nuggets to the brain, guys. I'm still suffering from withdrawals. All right, so I'm going to say that... And I mean, we can go and break this down, guys. Like, we can go and break down and say to ourselves, all right, if we go look at Sword and Shield base, why did he rank it so high? And like I said before, maybe I got to go back and look. And maybe his rationale is that, oh, there's a Marnie in it. And Marnies are big poggers. And there's competitively viable things in it. Big poggers. Or maybe it's because, I don't know. Gosh dang it, Eli. I keep clicking the wrong filter. I apologize, guys. I mean, sure, there's competitively viable cards. Sure, you've got a Lapras and a Snorlax, but like, it's not a bad base set. Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad base set. Like, if you go back and you look at it, it's a pretty decent base set. But with that being said, there's no way you're going to put it in the B tier. Like, that just seems so disrespectful to put it B tier. It like blows my mind. I think it's a fair argument to put Sword and Shield base at C tier. That's my personal opinion. I think it's fair to put Rebel Clash in D tier. I think this is fair. I thought he was way off on a few of them. Like, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, pull rates are bad too. Pull rates are not that good for Sword and Shield base either. Or Rebel Clash. Yeah, I think C tier. I think C tier. And here's why I put it at C tier for it. Is because with at least Sword and Shield base, right? You can pull a $46 card. And there's value to be made with that, right? Or if we're going uncommon common cards, you could pull a $2 card, a $1 card, a 50-cent card, a 50-cent card, and you just hit 3 of these and you made some money back, right? You didn't lose everything. Don't get me wrong, Rebel Clash, when we go look at Rebel Clash, you've got some cards that can do that as well. Obviously, if you just pull the frickin' Scoop Up Net or Training Core or Twin Energy, or I mean, there's a ton to love with the trainer cards. But if we're just saying to ourselves, we're being honest and we're just saying, okay, we take the trainer cards out of the set, are we really getting excited over pulling a $27 Sonya? Like, I don't know. The value, I would say, compared to the top pulls from Rebel Clash and comparing it to the top pulls of Sword and Shield base, I think that's what makes the difference for me. That's where I would say it makes the difference slightly. And my experience from Rebel Clash pulls compared to Sword and Shield base have been so much worse. So much worse. I have never pulled a Scoop Up Net from opening a booster box's worth of Rebel Clash, which is crazy to think. But I've pulled a Marnie from Sword Shield base in a booster box's worth. Like, that's crazy to me. Not to mention too, there's so many better gold cards you can pull because a lot of them are competitively viable. And so you can have cool, shiny, competitive cards. So it's like, that's kind of where I am on it. So yeah, I think this is a fair ranking. I think this is a fair ranking. This could be a cool video. I mean, if you guys cared about it. Darkness Ablaze in F tier. Darkness Ablaze is definitely... This might sound like a hot take, ladies and gentlemen. Darkness Ablaze is probably the worst set in the Sword and Shield era. I think it is. And here's why. Because if we go to Darkness Ablaze as a set, love other than a Charizard. Sure, you could say a Salamence. But if we're talking card value, right? It's literally Charizard or nothing. It's Charizard or bust. Straight up. And if you're saying to yourself, okay, if you're saying to yourself a $40 card, right? First and foremost, a Marnie is going to be more value than even the Charizard. The Marnie's worth even more than the Charizard, and it has other pulls after that that are even better. And then if we go to the standard uncommon cards, powerful Sea Energy first and foremost, it started to become prevalent. I mean, let's just look at the value of what the powerful Sea Energy is doing. Obviously, it's increased in value. You know, it started to take a turn off, but it has become more viable in competition. But in terms of anything after the powerful Sea Energy, it's very tough to really justify anything after. You're in a rock and a hard place, because when I look at Darkness Ablaze, yeah, rainbows are pretty bad too. I think it's falls somewhere in between here so far. I want to say it's the worst set of all time. I want to say it's the worst set of all time for Sword and Shield. That makes sense to me. With cards being more competitively viable in it, it's harder for me to just immediately throw it out, because at least with Rebel Clash, I can look at the best cards, but even then the second and the third most expensive cards in Rebel Clash are at least better, So it's tough for me, but I'm going to leave it here for now, and if I change my mind, I change my mind. Also, want to talk about hot takes? He put Shining Fates in D tier. That is crazy to me. How do you put Shining Fates in D tier? I'm at least going to put Shining Fates in C tier. Honestly, I might even put it in B tier. And I will explain why I'm going to put it in B tier. Because here's the deal with Darkness Ablaze. I know that Shining Fates. I know that everyone is so mad at Shining Fates because it didn't have a lot of Gen 1 through 5 Pokemon shinies. And don't get me wrong, I understand the disdain for that. But the set did what the set intended to do, and that was having a shiny dex of all of Gen 8 Pokemon. And if you're not someone that grew up as a fan of Gen 8 Pokemon, then obviously you're not going to like the set. And as someone who could care less for Gen 8 Pokemon, it's very understandable for most people to sit there and be like, yeah, Gen 8 Pokemon, they're not my favorite, right? However, if you look at the fact of the matter that as it stands right now, Scarlet and Violet's probably going to beat it, but the number one grossing Pokemon games are Sword and Shield. You have to think there's a lot of kids that are into Sword and Shield that are going to love this set in the future because they don't have that predisposition bias of Gen 8, because that's what they grew up in, right? That's the generation they grew up in. And sure, you can sit here and say to yourself that oh, well, there's no uncommon, competitively viable cards that I really like about it. Here, let's go back and let's just pick up standard Shining Fate set, right? And let's just go take a look at it. What, is Manaphy worth anything? I can't remember if it's worth anything. I don't think it is, honestly. But I mean, if we just go back and we look at just standard uncommon cards, because obviously Manaphy's not even an uncommon card, right? You're probably not going to get anything out of it. It makes it difficult for me personally to care about this when you consider the fact of the matter that these are being replaced with higher pull rates on cards for the shiny slot. And although right now, if we're going off of general value that you can pull, because you're saying to yourself, oh, well, Eli, we got to go off of general value of what everything's worth. Sure, it's Charizard or nothing, basically. Like, if you get a Suicune, if you get a Drizzle, if you get a bunch of these other cards, like, you're at least making money on the pack that you open, but, I mean, your chances are definitely going to be you're losing money. I just think this is so much more hated right now, and there's so much more supply to this than people realize. Now, maybe for the sake of where it stands right now, it's more fair for me to put this in C tier, but I'm going to put this as a low B tier for now. Actually, I'll put it as a high C tier and I'll readjust it later if things happen differently. That's what I will do. And we'll see with that. Southern Rainbow, just every single time, it's always, hey guys, that's every single time you comment on, that's all you ever say, I swear. If you have to choose one, would you buy an ETB or the 310s for Crown Zenith? Probably the ETB, just because you can already get it for so much cheaper. But yeah, like, I think we can put it high C for now, but I don't think it's a D set. I think long term this is an A set. People are going to see this as an A set long term. People are not looking at it in that lens. Now, I'm going to say Vivid Voltage. Is a C tier as well. I put Vivid Voltage at C tier, and that's quite simple for me. At the time, it was a super popular set because everyone got so excited, because it was the first set that had Pikachu as a main chase. So understandable, awesome Pikachu card. But if you look at anything outside of that, nothing left to be desired in terms of the general like main chase pulls. You obviously have yourself, you know, Togekiss. Sorry for all you Togekiss fans, but no one really cares. And then when you go to uncommon pulls, there's nothing competitively viable in this set, right? But what did it also introduce? It introduced amazing rares, which I think amazing rares were a really cool concept. And obviously, you know, they were super expensive at first, and then the supply was obviously realized, and now they're a lot cheaper, but they're still a cool concept. And for that reason, I definitely would say that there's a lot to be desired with that. And so for that reason, I'm going to say it's slightly above. I don't know, man. Do I want to say that Vivid Voltage is above Sword and Shield? That might sound like a hot take, but I would much rather open Sword and Shield just purely based on the fact of the matter that the value you can get off of pulling anything other than the Pikachu. I'll put it C tier, but I'm going to put it here. And then when I say to myself too, like, I generally do enjoy opening Shining Fates more than I do any of the other sets, because it's fun opening shiny Pokemon. I think you always have to be wary of that, take that into consideration. It does, Narwhal, I agree. The only main difference is Vivid Voltage has amazing rares. And that's what gets it a low C. If it didn't have amazing rares, it would be right next to Darkness Ablaze right now. It will definitely carry. Hey, shout out to John Doe for being here. All right, Champion's Path. Champion's Path. I'm going to put it here. And the only reason why it's not behind Rebel Clash is because it has Machamp in the set. No, I'm just kidding. No, the only reason why it's not behind Rebel Clash purely is based on the fact of the matter that it has two Charizards. It has both a shiny and a rainbow. And that's literally it. If it didn't have both a shiny and a rainbow, it would be behind it. It has slightly more competitive cards, slightly more, like Great Balls, which are very rarely used, but for the most part, 0 competitive cards. And it's once again basically Charizard or bust. That's just how it is. It's a D tier set, no question. Crazy to me that he put Shining Fates and Champion's Path as the worst. I mean, Champion's Path is bad, but I mean, Darkness and Rebel are definitely worse. And it's my Champion's Path. Like, I get the memes for it too. Why is Vivid Voltage better than Champion's Path? Because with Vivid Voltage, at least you're going to be able to have fun opening the amazing rares. That's kind of where my opinion of it is. It's like, it's not only a pull rate perspective, but it's also like, hey, if I'm going to open some Champion's Path, right? If I don't get that Champion's Path Charizard, then I'm just crying myself to sleep, right? At least with Vivid Voltage, I can pull some amazing rares and I can still at least slightly enjoy myself more, but not enough to where I'm not going to want to kill myself at the end of the day, right? And to me, I enjoy the arts more, and maybe that's a personal bias thing, but I value a Pikachu as a main hit and then a bunch of amazing rares that you can get over 2 Charizards. Because at least you can get a sprinkled in amazing rare in the reverse holo slot and then a main V card or rainbow card and make up for it, rather than in Champion's Path, it's literally you either get the shiny Charizard or the rainbow Charizard. And I thought it was very innovative at the time too for the amazing rares. So that's why it's a low C. Low C. It's not like it's any much better, right? Like if Champion's Path, for example, if they had amazing rares, then I would put it above Vivid. But I just value amazing rares more. Yeah, art is everything. I agree. And the paint slash does look amazing. All right, so what's next up? I mean, we're just going through all these crazy ones, right? We're just going through all the bottom ones. All right, guys. Here is where things get interesting. I am going to put... What am I going to put up next? What am I going to put up next, man? That's the real question. What do you guys think I should talk about next? I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot to pick. We still got Battle Styles, Lost Origin, Astral, Chilling, Pokemon Go, Celebrations, Brilliant Stars Fusion, Silver Tempest. What do you think's the next one I should talk about? That's the real question. Collector's gonna hunt Charizard more in the long term. No, I don't know, Southern Rainbows. Because Pikachu is one of the super strong cards as well that you got to consider. Like, Pikachu is an extremely strong character. Extremely strong. And it's the first set of all time that's ever done it. People are saying Pokemon Go or Battle Styles. Pokemon Go or Battle Styles. Okay. I put Pokemon Go in D, Tempest, Pokemon Go or Battle Styles. All right, we'll start with Pokemon Go, then we'll do Battle Styles. So Pokemon Go is an interesting one. So I know he has it in B tier. And in my honest opinion, I do think that long term, this will be seen as a B tier set. So I don't think it's unfair to put it B tier, but I would put it at a lot lower of a B tier. Like, this is probably going to end up being the lowest of the B tiers. Do I have a mute button? Because I know people don't want to hear me cough probably. Sorry about that. Need to get some water. I'm going to put it at a low B tier. And here's why. And that might sound very, like, and who knows, maybe that might sound like a hot take on it, but I will explain why. Because I look at this, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again if you haven't been here for it. I look at this set very similarly to that of Shining Legends. I think it's a very, very similar set in complex. You have your main pull that you can get, which is your Test Tube Mewtwo, and this one, it's, of course, the Mewtwo Alt-Art, which people hate, first and foremost. Like, look at the art design on this. People hate it, right? And then you've got your shiny Pokemon. For this one, it obviously has Radiant Charizard, Radiant Blastoise, Radiant Venusaur. And It's very underwhelming as a set. It is very, very underwhelming as a set. Like, the cards themselves, I don't know, maybe is a B tier justifiable? No, I don't think so. I changed my mind, guys. I changed my mind. I'm gonna say this is a... I'm gonna put this here. Maybe? I don't know, man. Maybe? Because here's where I'm thinking about it, right, guys? I think it's the first time they've ever had a shiny Venusaur before. It's the second time they've ever had a shiny Blastoise. Don't really care about the Charizard. Sure, it's a cool addition. They got a Rainbow Dragonite, and on top of that, they got a Rainbow Mewtwo V-Star and a alternate art Mewtwo. Then on top of that as well, you got the new gimmick with the Ditto, which I think was a really cool concept that they added. Outside of that, not really much to love. But for me, it's like, is that really enough to jump it up into B tier? I feel like long term, there's so much star power value. It's hard not to put it at a B tier set, but it's definitely not a well-rounded set. Like, it doesn't have amazing pull rates in terms of, oh, you're super excited about things, but it has some cards you can get in the main slot that you will get excited about. It doesn't really have, like, it has some amazing, or it has some obviously shining Pokemon you can get in the reverse holo. So there's some value there, but it's like, I think it's a set that'll do well long term. I think it's a set that'll do well long term, but do I say it's well enough that it's completely undervalued to put it at a B tier? You know? Like, that's a tough one for me to say. And the competitive viability of the set is non-existent. And the stamps take away the value. I don't know. Do you guys want to vote on it? We can vote on it. So is it better than Shining Fates as a set? Is it worse than Shining Fates as a set? Or is it low B tier? Where do we put it? Hey, thanks for stopping by, Narwhal. Good to see you. Okay, so right now, it looks like people don't say it's the top C tier. It looks like below Shining Fates and low B tier are kind of where people are in between, which is weird to think because that's so drastic. Yeah, people, I mean, at this point, it's pretty much below Shining Fates. All right, so we're going to put it here. We'll put it here. That makes sense. That makes sense to me. No, that makes sense. I mean, the more I thought about it, it just made sense, right? Hey, nice seeing you, Trainer Mason. You think it's below Vivid? No way it's below Vivid. There's no way. Because, I mean, at least with this set, you've got multiple pulls you can get in the main slot. You can't do that with Vivid. I think that's a hot take. Well, honestly, it's not a hot take, but I think I stand firm on it. Obviously, it's my tier list. We can do a poll one with you guys. But at least with this set, it's like, With Pokemon Go, you can get a Mewtwo, you can get a Dragonite, you can get an alternate art, you can get any of the Radiants, you can get a Mewtwo Gold, you can get cards that are still worth a decent amount of value. Like the value you can get out of this set is still so much far greater than the value you can get, you know? Battle styles. Yeah. You want battle styles? Yeah, and it has nostalgic value. I agree, Pika. It's going to have massive nostalgic value. Does that make it a good set? Of course not, because Darkness Ablaze is the worst set, but it's going to still hold weight long term. Battle styles. Okay, this is easy for me. And you guys can all hate me all you want. Battle styles is very underrated. So underrated. Crazy underrated. It blows my mind away how underrated it is as a set. Maybe it's me personally. I had almost every other booster box pulled a alternate art Tyranitar. I have pulled, I'm not even kidding you, I pulled 5 Sleepy Tyranitars. That is the most pulled alternate art I have gotten. I pulled 5 of them, and I average pulling one once every other booster box. I pulled 2 in one booster box once, and I'm not even kidding you. I didn't know that was possible, but it was for me. Now, with that being said, if we go look in the set, right, what is there? Alternate art design, gorgeous. Love the Sleepy T-Tar. One of my favorite art designs, right? Urshifu, listen, don't get me wrong. Like, if you're not a fan of Gen 8, I get it. You're not going to like it. But it's a gorgeous art design. These are cool art designs for the Urshifus. Same thing goes with the Empoleon. They did an amazing job with the alternate artwork. Then on top of that, too, Houndoom. If you're a fan of Houndoom, still a sick card. Level Ball, a competitively viable card. If we go and take a look at the uncommons in this set, obviously not really a ton of competitive viability, but for a while there, Level Ball was a part of the meta, and you do still at least have an energy recycler at 26 cents. So it's like there's some competitive cards that you can pull, but not a ton. But when I look at this set, not to mention too, you want my honest opinion, guys? I think that this Cheryl is here. Let's actually go full screen on this. What's the Nearman on this? It's got a lot. Don't get me wrong. Cheryl has a lot of her right now. You want to talk about a card? Like, obviously we did the whole Steam Siege as a meme. But if I'm being completely honest, I think Cheryl's extremely undervalued. I think this is a prime buyout card long term. I don't know if it's a prime buyout card now because Battle Styles is still in rotation and it could easily get printed into the ground. But this is a card I think that a lot of people really, I mean, think about the value of waifu cards and the value of full art trainers long term. She is both of those, and her value right now is extremely low. And so for me personally, I think that she's undervalued. I think that you obviously have some other cool gold cards you can pull. Not a ton. Who cares about Octillery? Let's be honest here. But then the Sleepy T-Tar, the Empoleon, the Urshifus, I like a lot of these cards. I do, honestly. I do. And I think it gets a lot of crap because when you compare it to other alternate arts, it's very much not... There's not as many as there are in other sets. That's fair, Pika. From an artistic perspective, I mean, that totally makes sense. The green on green isn't the best. You still gotta wonder, though. I still think, regardless of the color theme on it, obviously it could have been a better card, but I still think that it's valued way less than it should be. I mean, what about the Phoebe? You think Phoebe's worth $10? To be fair, like when we go into the supply of her, obviously there's so much because there's so much battle styles. See, I feel like it comes down to a supply thing more. But anyway, I think it's a B tier. I think it's personally a B tier. I think the waifu cards, the Phoebe, the Cheryl, obviously, they're undervalued. I think that the Tyranitar is finally starting to get love as its price is going up again. I think the Empoleon is super sick. I think the Urshifus will do really well long term as Jenny becomes extremely popular. I think the Houndoom is a cool card. Level Ball is a card that's still somewhat viable and competitive. I think there's a lot to love in this set that is very undervalued. Very little presence in terms of competitive viability, very little. But I mean, there's still some cards that are played, and the value you're getting out of it is not great. And I know some people are like, well, what about the pull rates, Eli? But it's like, I don't know. I have yet to have bad pull rates for it. And considering the price in which you can go buy a Battle Styles booster box at right now too, like you can still get it for wholesale. I don't know, man. It's hard. It is hard. It's hard. All right, what are we doing next, gentlemen? I think it's pretty simple what comes after this. It's Chilling Reign Fusion Strike. We already know that's what you guys want me to rank next. So that's what I'm going to do. And now the question ultimately comes down to, which do I put where? Huh? Where do these go? Do they go B? Do they go C? Just kidding. Where do these go? Right? Where do these go? And in all honesty, guys, might sound like a hot take. I think this is where they go. I think this is it. I think this is the true ordering. I know for him, he put Fusion instead of Chilling, but hear me out. I think that personally speaking, for me, one, I had much better. That's not even true. I had a fairly. Nah, that's a lie. Chilling Reign, I had amazing pull rates for my own personal opinion. But even if you take that out of the mix, right? When I go to Fusion Strike as a set, and I look at all the cards in this set, right? It's got a lot of cards to love. Espeon, gorgeous artwork. Gengar, gorgeous artwork. Mew, kind of mid artwork. Kind of whatever. Celebi, gorgeous artwork. But then once you kind of get past that and down to the Inteleon and the Genesect, no one cares about a Greedent. No one cares about a Sandaconda. Not really it. When you go and you take a look at the competitively viable cards in the set, it does have a battle pass. It does have a quick ball. So there is a competitive presence to it. Now, does that, in my personal opinion, put this set above Chilling Reign? Because when we go take a look at Chilling Reign, let's take a look at it as a set. I personally am of the belief that I think that the Moltres is one of the top 5 artworks right now in the Sword Shield era. No question in my mind. Absolute amazing artwork. And that adds so much weight to it. And I think this will be a card that'll do extremely well long term. Then you've got the Blaziken art design, which is also really cool. You've got a Snorlax, which is gold. You've got so many cool art designs, so many cool alternate arts, so many. I mean, the overwhelming value that you first just see on the front of this set compared to Fusion, I don't give a crap. If, oh, look, this set has a 75-cent card and a 45-cent card. You could make value up from it. Don't care. I don't care. Sure, this has a Path to the Peak and a Melanie, which is worth 21 cents, 17 cents, and there's some value to that. There is some value to that. It's not 75 cents, 41 cents, but it's enough to where it's gaining some value. And on top of that as well, the main slot is crazy. The main slot is so crazy. Like, It's like, how is Chilling Reign? I'm not even lying to you guys. The more I think about this, the more I'm considering putting in A tier. Like, I am strongly considering putting this in A tier. It's hard. It's hard. Here's what we'll do. I'm going to finish the rest of the set. And I am going to ask you guys, based off of where I put everything else, where we put Chilling Reign. That's what I'm going to do. That's where I'm going to be. All right. Moving on, we're going to keep it high B. We're going to keep it high B for now. What is going to be up next? We are going to do... I think Astral's a pretty easy one, honestly. I don't mind where you put Astral here. I honestly don't. And hear me out. This is why I think I don't mind where he puts Astral. I do love Chilling. It is a gorgeous set. I love Chilling. I hope it gets printed in the ground this next year. I honestly do. Because I will master set the crap out of it if it does. I mean, I'm going to master set the crap out of it one way or another, but I'll master set it more. So let's take a look at... Do I want to put Astral Radiance right at A tier and just explain it to you guys why? Okay, so here's the thing with Astral Radiance. When we take a look at the set overall, can we do a chat tier list after this? What time is it right now? How long have we been going for? We've been going for an hour and 13 minutes. Yeah, I can do that. We're going to have to rapid fire it for sure. We'll have to rapid fire it. So actually, you know what we can do is if it's a chat tier list, we can easily just be like, what would you change? All right, so what do I like about this set? What makes this set an A tier list set, right? It's got some cool alternate arts. It's got some cool trainers. It's got some cool gold cards that are competitively viable. There's a lot to love here in the main slot. It's got some cool V-Star cards that are also competitively viable. Add some value to it. And on top of that too, if you want to keep going with that, we go to the slot. Let's take a look at some of the uncommon common value. You've got some cards in the uncommon common value that have a ton to love there. And then we take that an extra step further. Then we go take a look at some of the rare holographic cards. And what do you know? The rare holographic cards, you can also pull some that are worth multiple dollars. Then you take it even a step further. Let's just take a look at the standard rares. How are the standard rares doing? Standard rares, not much more after that. So what do I like about this set overall? Just explaining it, right? It's got a lot to love in the main slot in terms of alternate art designs, in terms of just the art designs themselves. Got some really cool trainers. You've got competitively viable cards in the main slot. You've got competitive viable cards in the uncommon slot. You've got competitively viable cards in the holo slot. So overall, this is one of the really good sets from a competitively viable card set. Not to mention too, we haven't even talked about the trainer gallery, which it has awesome artwork from both the Starmie and the Garchomp. I think it's cool that it also includes the Zacian birds. Not going to really add a ton of value to it, but it's still really cool just because the art design really stands out for the main top two. So for me, there is so much packed in the set, and what's even crazier about it is that right now, for my wholesale access from my distributors, this is the cheapest booster box I can buy at $85, and that blows my mind personally away because the amount of value that you get, it's almost like, I'm not saying this is not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, but if you are buying booster boxes of Astral for wholesale, this is the set to open up, no question about it, if you're trying to make your money back. because you can hit so many different ways, whether it be in the holo slot, whether it be in the common uncommon slot, whether it be in the main, you know, alternate art rainbow and everything in between, whether it be in the reverse rare slot. Like, there's a lot of ways to hit in this set, and so you can really suppress your losses in it. And so for that reason, and it's got good pull rates too. Like, it's not a bad pull rate set. If you watched me do it, it's got standard pull rates. When I opened it, I think this is an easy A tier. I think this is an easy A tier, personally speaking. That's what I gotta say with it. I think this is an easy A tier. Now, Lost Origins being up next. I do think Lost Origin also is up there in the A tier. But wasn't Silver Tempest booster boxes also the same price on Black Friday? I'm talking about before Silver Tempest came out, Pika Pika. For the longest time, the price of it was extremely cheap. You think there should be a gap between Brilliant Star and Chilling Reign and a big one between Evolving Skies? Well, nothing's going to be S tier other than Evolving. Evolving is the only S tier card there's going to be. I think you can't put anything above S tier. If you are going to put something in S tier, I think it's going to be Astral. And I think that it would be so far away from Evolving. It doesn't. I think it's almost disrespectful to put anything else in S tier. And not to mention too, long-term Astral as a set will not be an S tier set. It will not be, because the competitively viable cards will get rotated out and what's left of it will still be good, but not great. You know? And that's something I feel like you consider. Lost Origin, I think this is appropriate as well. And I think for me, why it's not above Astral is, although Lost Origin does have a better trainer gallery, don't get me wrong, before everyone with their, you know, pitchforks, yes, it's got the Pikachus, it's awesome, don't get me wrong, I love it. It probably has the best trainer gallery so far that we've seen in the Sword and Shield era. And don't get me wrong too, like when we talk about the set and we look at the cards in the main slot, Giratina wise, gorgeous artwork. Aerodactyl, gorgeous artwork. The other two, don't really care, but you could say the same thing about the other set, right? It's got a couple of cool rainbows, but it doesn't really have any cool trainers. There's not really cool trainers in this set that there are to love. Then when we go to the competitive viability of this set, there are not that many competitive cards in this set that I would say warrant a ton of value. Like sure, you've got a Comfy, but it's like, I don't think that carries it really, you know? And I think that's a big aspect of it. Not to mention too, the pull rates of this set were atrocious, like atrocious. Like the pull rates for this set made me want to cry. And honestly, I think even putting this at A tier is kind of disrespectful. Like, the only reason why this would even be considered A tier is because the artwork for the Aerodactyl and the Giratina is so good, and then the trainer gallery is so good. I think this is a low A. I think this is a low A for sure. I think it does belong in A, but it's a low A. I think that's where it stands for sure. I don't know, maybe you guys think it's a high B. Now where to put Celebrations? You agree, take it to B? I mean, let's take a look, see what people want. I'm indifferent about it. Take it to the polls, gentlemen. Lost Origin, where is it? Low A, high B. I think personally, I think it's a low A. That's where I think. I know the pull rates suck on it, but I do think that the secret rares in the set, that if the artwork on them is just gorgeous, and then I do think that the trainer gallery is the best trainer gallery we have so far. And I think the trainer gallery holds up so much value considering how amazing of a trainer gallery it is with what it has. That's why it's hard for me. Chilling Reign is better than Lost Origin. I think that I don't know what to say. I mean, so far people are saying low A, hands down. Low A it's not even close right now. So we'll keep it where it is at low A. 25th anniversary, something special. I mean, everyone's just throwing it up there. Everyone is already saying celebrations. Yeah, I think we throw celebrations up there. But where do we put celebrations? Which is better? Like, I think celebrations, I think it's obviously an A, and I think you think long-term value, it'll definitely do good. But would I necessarily say... Right, but the question isn't, is it A tier? The question really is, is it above Lost Origins or not? I don't think it is. I think this is where it belongs. I think Celebrations belongs right below Lost Origin. And to that extent, I'm pretty much very similar with Danny in that regard. Like A and up, we're pretty similar here. All right, so what do we got next? We've got Brilliant Star, Silver Tempest. Brilliant Star, Silver Tempest. Where to put these two sets? Let's take a look at Silver Tempest first. First and foremost, I love the art design for Silver Tempest. When it comes to the Lugia, I think it's gorgeous. I think it is an awesome art design for a Lugia. It's one of my favorite. I think it's extremely cool. I think it's extremely good. And I think there's a lot to love there with it. I think that Serena is an awesome card because not only is it a really cool waifu card, but it also is one that has competitive viability aspect to it. I think the other alt arts are meh. They're kind of cool, but like, let's be honest here, Skunk Tank, come on, bro. Like, the Unknown is fine. They could have done more with it. I like the theme that they're going for it on the set. And you know, there's so much value with the Lugia. Vulpix, missed opportunity, not getting an alt art Vulpix. That's something true to be here is with. Ho-Oh, same concept. Ho-Oh Reshiram, also lost opportunity, right? Then we go take a look at the uncommon slot. We'll start off with the uncommon slot. Is there any competitive viability when it comes to the cards? There's some Serenas, non-holo, right? And there's some Vigar cards. So there's some viability in terms of competitive play. Not a ton, but some. And then if we go look at the holo rare cards, you've got the Forest Seal Stone, which is going for $3. ton of competitive viability with that card right now. So it really does have a decent amount of competitive viability. It has a Lugia, which is a very strong character, a very good alternate art design. The other alternate arts are kind of meh, nothing really to love here. But here's where we get into the next of it. The, of course, Trainer Gallery. Friends of Galar, awesome card design, personally speaking. I love Friends of Galar. I think it's I'm not even a fan of Galar. I love that card art. I think it's so good. I think it really is a good representation of Galar as an era. And then we take a look at, above that, of course, Rayquaza VMAX. I think if you're a fan of Lost Origin, you also have to look at that in regards to the same manner. Rayquaza is a super strong character card. Pikachu is also a very strong character card. Here's where my opinion lies. I think that when you look at Lost Origin and you look at Silver Tempest, I see them both as very similar sets, right? You've got a very strong character, that being Lugia. Giratina, I wouldn't say is an extremely strong character, but it's a semi-strong character. And they've got cool art designs with the Aerodactyl and the cool art design with the Lugia. You have a fairly strong trainer gallery, Rayquaza being extremely strong, Pikachu being extremely strong. When you look at the competitive viability, however, that's where I feel like you really take the cake with that in terms of this set over Lost Origin. And then the pull rates, I also think, take the cake for it as well. So in all honesty, ladies and gentlemen, this might sound like a hot take here, but I'm going to put Silver Tempest in front of Lost Origin. Because if we are saying to ourselves, like, Silver Tempest as a set, right? Obviously, you know, you don't get that same runner-up as like, oh, if I don't pull the Giratina. If I don't pull the Giratina, then I at least can pull the Aerodactyl, right? Sure, you don't have that next up card that's going to be worth over $100, but for me, when you're saying that I pull an alternate art, one per case, versus, actually, I opened 2 cases and got 1 alternate art, so I'm not even going to say it's 1 per case. It could be 1 per 2 cases. Why does it matter? Versus for me, you also can pull Serena, which is a full art trainer. That's like 1 every 18, 1 every 36. So you're gonna get her at some point. She's worth $50. That's a huge back value on it. And on top of that, you also have the opportunity to get a Lugia of both rainbow and a gold. And if you look at the value for those cards, right, they're in the 30s. And then if we go take a look at what's in Lost Origin in terms of the value that it brings as a set, the overall value for the golds, sorry, I gotta filter this so we can see this faster. If you look at the equivalent with the Giratinas, they're in the 20s. So you're getting so much more value out of the Silver Tempest ones. I know, it's Aerodactyl. I know how to pronounce it. I just, it's a running meme that I say Aerodactyl, and I've just kind of ran with the meme. But yeah, so the value you're gonna get versus the gold and the rainbows from the other set compared to this one, and on top of that too, the alternate art value for these two are greater with Silver Tempest. Well, I shouldn't say because Skunk Tank, but I mean, I guess I compared it to Unknown and the Regidrago, but it really is taken away from the fact that the pull rate is higher and the value is higher when you're looking at it from Silver Tempest compared to Lost Origin. That's just where I think it is. Pull this Serena in Japanese, it's paying for my Crown Zenith. I mean, there you go, buddy. There you go. So that's why I would personally put it there, because it's like a better version of Lost Origin in terms of pull rate. Could it have been better with the alternate art designs? Of course, it could have totally been better with the alternate art designs. Because the Lugia was great, but everything else, you know, or I should say the alternate art picks. I shouldn't say the designs, the picks. Like, who wants a Skunk Tank? But who wants a Berserker, right? Like, that's where it becomes difficult for me, you know? That's where it becomes difficult, because when you look at overall the most recent like character rare sets, And by recent character rare sets, I mean Brilliant Star, Astral Radiance, Silver Tempest, Lost Origin. They all, for the most part, considering they have such few alternate arts, they have a lot that's left to be desired, right? There's a lot that's left to be desired in the sets. And that's what makes it super tough for me. Because I have to rank them higher because the character rares add so much more value to it. And they have so many good competitively viable cards because them being the newest sets, they obviously shake up the meta. And that's going to play a huge role because if we were to say to ourselves, all right, well, if Chilling Reign was the newest set, then Chilling Reign would have come out with new cards that were obviously be more expensive. So it's hard to say because you want to take competitive as a value and see where it changes up the meta. But it's hard also too because, you know, in theory, if the meta is constantly changing, there are cards from Chilling Reign that could also pop off in the future, you know? And that's just kind of where it is for me. Raheem says all three are A, Lost Origin, Silver Tempest, AR. So you would do it in he'd do it in reverse. Yeah, Silver Tempest can be weighed. No, for sure. But I mean, that's not going to change my rank. Now we go Brilliant Star. Where to put Brilliant Star? Now listen, everyone had a lot better pull rates than I did, so I'm not going to use my own bias when saying where I'm going to rank Brilliant Star. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to get biased when it comes to my own pull rates with Brilliant Star. Because I've had terrible pull rate experiences. We're going to do a readjustment, Southern. What to say about Brilliant Star? Charizard, great art design. You're a Gen 4 fan, Arceus, great art design. So it's got two cool characters. Interesting that the value of the Arceus, I would say, is lower, considering what it brings. Competitively speaking, Arceus changed a lot for the meta too. Ultra Balls being brought back changed a lot for the meta too. It's got some cool gold cards. It's got a cool Marnie card. There's a lot, I would say, that has to be asked about this set because why is it that there's so much to love in this set, yet the value of the cards are so cheap and it's such an underprinted set? We look at the uncommons. Double Turbo, Ultra Ball, Choice Belt. These are all cards that are very often used in competitive, and they're still super cheap. Quite curious. I would say it actually comes down to, it actually makes sense why these are all cheap, because these were all included in the 2022 trainer toolkit. So that does make sense to me. Because, I mean, look at the value of when the trainer toolkits came out. Yikes, buddy. Look at how much that dropped. It went from $1.27 to 20 cents. Oh, Jesus loves me. To be fair, that is also when the set came out itself. So where was the value at first? I don't know. Trainer Toolkit actually didn't really change much for Double Turbo. But the Choice Belt, where did the Choice Belt change? We can actually see that adjustment better, potentially. Okay, so it was in the 30 cents at one point. I don't know. Doesn't seem like it made that much of a difference, maybe. Anyway, we take that out of it. We go to the holo rares. Holo rare value. Is there really many of value to consider when taking a look at it? Just your standard bosses, Oral and Bibarel. Not really crazy, but something. And then when we talk about the overall reverse slot, obviously bringing back the trainer gallery. Let's go click on Brilliant Stars. It's got the Eevees, Umbreon, Sylveon, the trio, OG. It's got some Mimikyu if you're a Mimikyu fan. Here's the deal. When it comes to this set, it's got some Eevees, which is strong character. It's got a Charizard, which is strong character. It's got an Arceus, which is a semi-strong character. But it's got a lot to love here, right? Competitive viability-wise, Arceus obviously helps. But with all the promos and boxes, the value has gone down. But there's a reason why the value's gone down because of it. If we take that out of the mix, then that's something to be considered. When we say to ourselves outside of that, though, why is the value of all the cards so low? What's the waifu value, too, of this set? That's another question I want to ask myself. What is the waifu value of this set? Because we also always got to take that into consideration. Where's the card filter? There we go. Obviously, it's got a Marnie, but Marnie's some reason super cheap too. Doesn't make sense to me. And it's got a Cynthia. Like, it's got a lot of value. For some reason, it's not showing up though. I don't know. It's weird. But you've got both Marnie and Cynthia in a set. It's got a good trainer gallery. It's got good full art trainers. It's got good alternate arts. Its competitive viability for the main slot was really good until they started printing them in promo boxes because those cards were so strong. The cards in the common and common slot were put in the trainer toolkit so that the value would go down. If you look at the value of what it was before they started taking all the cards and putting them in promo boxes because of how OP the set was, it makes sense why a lot of these cards are much cheaper now. But it doesn't make sense to me why the rest of the cards, right? The regular Charizard, the regular Brilliant Star, the Arceus Altar, that doesn't make sense to me why those are cheap. But the ultimate question is, where does this lie as a set? I think that from an overall set to open, it's a fun set to open, and I would put Astral in terms of opening. But if you take out the fact of the matter that, and that's also truly because Astral's at $85, but I guarantee you if Brilliant Star was at $85, people would be much more inclined to open Brilliant, even if the value is greater with Astral because of the competitive viability. And there's a reason why it's doing so well right now. So here's the ultimate real question we have to ask ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the ultimate question we have to ask ourselves. Where does it stand? Is it an S tier set? That's the question. Yes, that's a great point, TT. If we think long-term, Astral does not have a chance. I agree with you on that one. The long-term value, and don't get me wrong, like I will take these things into consideration when I make my readjustments. The question just ultimately is right now, is it a high A or is it a low S? Is it disrespectful to put it in the same class as Evolving Skies? That doesn't mean it's the same, but is it disrespectful to put it in? ES deserves its own tier. I was thinking about that. We can always add another row. But this is still the question, right? This is a close poll so far. It's a close one, man. What is the ranking based on? Honestly, it really comes down to everything. What are the pull rates? What's in the competitive viability aspect of it? What is the alternate arts? What is the character rare value? What is the pull rate value? And the real question ultimately is, does it stand up to being in S tier with Evolving Skies? That doesn't mean that it's better than Evolving Skies, because it's not even close, and it doesn't mean that it's even close to being up there with Evolving Skies. But does that mean it's a set that is deserving of S tier? And if it does, then I honestly will make another tier of its own. I think you have to make another tier. Call this the ES tier. How does this change it? Does this change it? Here, I'm gonna redo the poll, and now I'm gonna see if this changes it and see what your thoughts are. Is it above? Because right now we're looking at the argument. When we look at it, is it deserved to be in a similar tier as Evolving, right? And there's about almost a 50-50 split between you guys. It kept going back and forth. But now here's the question. Does it deserve to be in a tier that is not as good as Evolving Skies, but it's better than all of the Silver Tempest, Astral Radiance, Lost Origin? Or is it very similar, just the best of the bunch? That's the question. Okay. I think so far the change on, I mean, we see the change that's been made right now for the chart. Oh, maybe. Well, probably not. I don't know. I think we keep it at this seems right. This makes the most sense to me. Now, here's the question we ultimately ask ourselves. All of these sets here's the ultimate question we ask ourselves. And this, I think, will show a lot. I think this right here is going to determine what people think about the market. Are you guys ready for this one? Here's where we have fun. This is where things get really fun. Because I think this is very telling. Where does chilling belong? This is the ultimate question. I would love to get your guys' opinion on this. And by middle A, I mean it's pretty simple. There's 4 sets right now. You would put this above Lost Origin but below Silver Tempest. So pretty simple, right? Where do you put this? Does this set belong because it's so good because of its alternate arts and its rainbows and its golds and its Flora Trainer? Is it that good of a set that even with it not having a character or slot, kind of like Evolving Skies, that it can be better? Is it that good of a set that it holds up to it? That's the question. We're going to give this one some time. I mean, so far it's between low A and middle A. So people agree it's in an A tier. It's an A tier set. So then is Fusion A tier then? Okay, so we're just gonna say based off of the votes right now, we're gonna put it here. It'd obviously be a low A. It would be below Celebrations, but is it an A tier set? Because for me, I'm not saying it's really close between Chilling Reign, but it's like not close. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but like when I look at Chilling as a set, it's obviously a better set when you look at the two, but when you look at the star power and the value that you get out of Fusion, with it having the Espeon, and it has the Gengar, and it has the Celebi, and it has the Mew, there's a lot of card strength in this set. You know? There's a lot of card strength in this set. But is that enough to make it a low A is the question. Is Chilling Reign that much higher? Raheem, Chilling is mid. Chilling is mid as a set, or it's middle A? I assume you meant chilling is mid as a set, though. Raheem. That's so funny. $50-50. 50% of you guys say yes, 50% say no. Man, that's crazy to me. All right, guys, you ready for this? I'm gonna decide. I put it low A. I was about to keep it at B, and then I remember the competitive cards that are in the set. I think that's it. I think it has to be, because even if you say it's a close discussion, or it isn't a close discussion between Chilling Reign's alt arts versus the fusion alt arts, you have to at least say to yourself that the competitive cards that are in fusion still add more value to it that Chilling Reign does not have in terms of its competitive cards. So maybe we make an adjustment to Astral then, and we say long-term Astral. I mean, because we had it at the front because of how much value you get, but if we say long-term, Astral as a set is not going to do as well because a large portion of its competitive value is going to be wiped. I think you take Astral and you say it's got good value right now, but long term it's not going to be, you know? That's fair. Man, you guys are making me move crap around so much. Steve, all modern sets are S tier compared to emerging. I mean, yeah, like, vote what you guys think. Is the set high A, S, or middle A? I think that's fair, John. People are saying high A pretty overwhelmingly at this point. But it doesn't deserve S tier. Okay. So I think we stick with this. And then this is right. I think this is right. You can agree with me or disagree with me, obviously, on your Lost Origin versus Silver Tempest perspective, but I think for me it's fairly simple just based off of pull rates. Pull rates are just so bad at Lost Origin comparatively. All right, I think this is it, guys. I think this is the final tier list. I think I've scrubbed it all out. And this is where I stand. So let's take a look at me compared to Danny. So, for me, Evolving Skies, obviously it's in a tier of its own, right? I don't even say it's an S tier set. It is just in a tier of its own. It's one of the best sets of all time, right? Then we go S tier. I don't want people to understand. I want people to understand this correctly. Brilliant Star is an S tier not because of it's in a tier of its own, but it's because we didn't have many S tier sets this year. We didn't have many sets that I was like, oh yeah, this is an S tier set. This is incredible, right? If I go and look at, like, I don't know, Sun and Moon, for example, there would be multiple S tier sets. But for Sun and Moon, or for the Sword and Shield era, it was a lot of, yeah, these are not bad sets. Like, they're A tier, like, they're good sets, but we didn't have a lot of great sets, really. It was either, oh my gosh, it's Evolving Skies, and hey, Brilliant Star is a great set, and then everything else was kind of like, you know, A, like, you know, middle high. Then we go to, obviously, B tier, Battle Styles and Shining Fates. I think these are sets that'll do extremely well long term. And on top of that too, as I've mentioned this many times before, they're very undervalued based off of the amount of prints they both have had. They've been both extremely printed into the ground. And on top of that too, the art designs to be taken away from Battle Styles with the Sleepy T-Tar, the Empoleon, the Urshifus. I think there's a lot to be desired there. And then Shining Fates as well, I think, is a set that'll do really well with the Galers. C tier, I think C tier also makes sense. Like I said before, Pokemon Go, I think, is definitely a C tier set based on the fact of the matter that it will do extremely well long-term nostalgic value. There's a lot that it had innovation-wise in it, a lot that it brought to the table with Shinies. And then we take, obviously, Sword and Shield, had a lot of competitively viable cards. If you take into account it also had a Marnie, I mean, there's an argument, don't get me wrong, there's an argument to be made Vivid Voltage could be better, but I still want to respect the fact of the matter that when it comes to the first two sets of every new generation, they always are competitively viable. So you have to take that from a set that is competitively viable. Is it more fun to open than Vivid Voltage? Which I think that, as it stands right now, yes. You can't not take the competitive viability aspect out of it. There's some you have to consider because otherwise every single set for the first two of a competitive era is going to always be garbage. It's always going to be the worst. So I think it's unfair to put it that way in the grand scheme of things. And then obviously these are D tier. Makes sense to me. Champion's Path is just slightly above Darkness, and then Rebel Clash being competitively viable. But obviously, as we've mentioned before, outside of its competitive viability nature, there's nothing really else to love from it. So there's not really much we can do. So where do we compare when we look at B? When we look at B, straight up, obviously with A tier, I have all of these in A tier. I mean, he just doesn't have a lot of the same things that I do. So if we look at the worst sets, we're both the same when it comes to Darkness, and we're both the same when it comes to Champions. But he put Shining there, which I put Shining at B, right? Which I think is crazy that you put Shining at D tier. And then you put Robo Clash at C, which also I think he's smoking on it. I think it makes sense to have Vivid at C. I think the fact that he put Battle Styles and Silver Tempest at C is also kind of disrespectful. I think Pokemon Go at B is also kind of disrespectful. I think Sword and Shield Base at B is also kind of disrespectful. Obviously, I agree with him when it comes to Lost Origin, Astral, and Celebrations being A tier, but obviously we did it completely backwards to what he did, and Silver Tempest deserves to be A. Fusion deserves to be A. Chilling Reign deserves to be A. So it's like, there's definitely a lot, I would say, that I would put differently. There's a lot that I would say is different. Now we can go look and see if Twice Baked Jake did one. We can go look and see. Because you guys obviously said he did a tier list himself. All right, let's see what his is. Did he not put it on like a tier list type set? Oh, he didn't. Here, is there did the comment section say anything about it? Huh, it doesn't look like he has one actually. It's kind of lame. That's the timeline? Oh, I see. So where does he rank the lowest then? So Rebel Clash is the worst. Sword and Shield Base is the second worst. Then Darkness, then Battle Styles, then Pokemon Go. Man, he put Pokemon Go above Battle Styles? And then he put Chilling Reign below Champion's Path? That's so gross. How did he put Champion so high? And then he put Celebrations below Vivid? And Astral? Oh my gosh. Man, he's even more off than Danny. That's crazy, guys. Yo, that is crazy that he would do that. So here's what my tier list looks like, guys, right? Here's what my tier list looks like. If I were to make his tier list, this is what it would look like. If I were to make his, it would be Evolving Skies at 1. It would be Shining Fates at 2. Does he directly say what? Here, let me look at audio.
Full art card, but because it has such Shining Fates. Shining Fates is the only Pokemon card set that scored a 10 in terms of impact opening experience. It is the most fun. I really carries the set. Strong set overall. There's really no issue I have with Shining Fates. It's affordable, it's collectible, it's fun to open, great artwork, definitely deserves the second place spot on the list. And in first,
He just says second place spot. He doesn't even say like what he ranks it. He just says second place spot. So, I mean, if we're just going from what he did, he goes this, then he goes Brilliant, which is right here. Then he goes Lost Origin, we'll say here. Then he goes Silver Tempest, we'll say here. And then we'll assume, based on this logic, Astral's the drop-off. Then Vivid. Then Celebrations. Then we'll say Fusion. Then Champions. And here, we'll get rid of this too. So here's where it probably lines up. We can adjust everything in a second. Then Pogo at C, Battle Styles at C, Darkness Ablaze, probably put it at C. And then if I were to guess, probably put these two at the bottom, maybe. Here, but I gotta readjust it to the way he probably did it. So if I were to guess, this is what his tier list would look like. No, wait, no, he had these lower. Because he had Rebel Clash, then Sword and Shield Base, then Darkness. So we probably say this, and then Battle Styles, then Pokemon Go. Then Battle Styles, then Pokemon Go. Then Chilling, then Champions, then Fusion. This is crazy, guys. Okay, you say pack opening experience is part of his criteria. I want you guys to give me a vote. Which one of you guys had a better pack opening experience from Champion's Path and Chilling Reign? I would love to hear you guys say that. Who had a better pack opening experience of Champion's Path over Chilling Reign? That is wild to me. There is no way you had a better pack opening experience getting only Machamps and then finally getting the Charizard and realizing, hey, I'm $200 down, but at least I finally pulled that Charizard. I only lost $50 and I have a bunch of Machamps to show for it. Like, bro, that's wild to me. You had a better pack opening experience from Champions. Okay, 2 Zards and 1 ETB. Yeah, buddy. Like, you're obviously the exception, not the rule. I think it's because if I were to guess, if I were to take a guess, but see, that doesn't even make any sense, because in my mind I'm like, okay, is he just taking card value out of the equation? But even if you took card value out of the equation, to put Vivid at B tier is crazy to me. That is still crazy. I don't know, man. I think this one, like, if you look at my bottom tier versus his bottom tier, it is quite similar, but Champions Path, it's criminal where he puts Champions. I think it's criminal where he puts Champions. Just watch the beginning so you understand his criteria. I mean, sure, yeah.
Going to be ranking every single Sword and Shield Zero Pokemon card set on how good they are, and this is going to be really interesting. It's going to be a pretty subjective subject in general, but I've tried my best to be as objective as I can, so I've rated every single Pokemon card set on 4 separate categories. This is how collectible the set is, how fun the pack opening experience is, how good the art inside of the set is, and what are the top cards inside of the set, for a total score of 40 possible points each category. A set can get 10 points inside of each category, so the most amount of points that a set can get is 40 points if they score a 10 on everything.
Okay, but even with that logic, it still doesn't make sense why he would rank it so high, considering the fact that it was literally Pikachu Rainbow and then sprinkle it in with amazing rares. How do you not get bored of just consistently pulling the same amazing rares over and over again? Pack opening experience, that's still crazy. That he had more fun with Vivid than Celebrations. And maybe you say to yourself, oh, I had less fun with it because Celebrations, I've already opened all these cards before, time and time again, I don't really care about it. But like, over chilling, that's crazy. I mean, that's my biggest complaint, is why is chilling so low, is why is champion so high? That I say I'm the most like, okay, that's crazy. And then why is Vivid so high? Like, I can understand you making arguments here and there between all the other ones, but still. And then personally, this is just my personal opinion, Pokemon Go should not be higher than Battle Styles. But, I don't know. That is just me. But you guys know where my tier is. You guys know where I am. think this is what I had before. I can't remember. Does this look right? No, Pogo I put higher than Vivid. I think I put Shining over Battle Styles, now that I reconsider it. But this looks right. This is definitely what I had before, minus the Battle Style Shining Face switch. Can actually always rewind my own video too. Alright, so where did I have mine? I had mine Evolving Skies, I had mine Brilliant Star, I had everything like this is the same. I had all, yeah, I had Vivid Voltage above Sword and Shield base. I think that makes sense. I think that makes sense to me. Yeah. Yeah, I would just change these two around. Yeah. I think this is it. Yeah, I will definitely do a different tier list after this at some point, but looks good except Astral. You think Astral probably is higher. But I think as far as it goes, ladies and gentlemen, I've been going for over my time by quite a bit, actually, by 20 minutes. So we're going to wrap it up here. Please make sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It really helps out the algorithm, and it helps out our video content being pushed. So I appreciate it. Can't thank you guys enough once again for all you do. But of course, as always, thank you guys all so much for watching. Until then, I will see you all on Friday.